2011's Thor is directed by Kenneth Branagh and stars Chris Hemsworth as the God of Thunder himself. Thor is about to become the king of Asgard, the realm which he inhabits, but he makes a rash decision and attacks the realm of the frost giants, Jotunheim, and his father, Odin, played by Sir Anthony Hopkins, casts him down to Earth for it. When he is cast down to Earth, he encounters Jane Foster, Aaron Selvig, and Darcy, who help him to learn the error of his ways and help him to once again become the God of Thunder. I remember when I first saw this, I liked it a lot. There's not really a whole lot like this that we've had in the superhero genre. It was the first time that I remember that I really saw magic happening in a superhero movie. Like, we've had otherworldly, superheroes before and stuff like that with Superman, and we've seen other societies like Krypton, but nothing really, otherworldly and magical like Thor had happened up to this point. And initially when I saw it, I thought it did that very well. I mean, it created this whole new world for us to explore. The design of the characters was really interesting. We got a lot of cool costumes. We got a lot of cool artifacts that we saw in Odin's weapon room. And I was just interested to see how mythology and superhero movie were going to meet. And I did enjoy it when I saw it. And I've enjoyed it over the years, but this time when I watched it, I felt like it's lost a lot of what I liked about it when I first saw it. And I don't think it's necessarily the movie's fault. I just think that we've had a lot more superhero movies to have done stuff like this. I mean, we live in a world where people like Doctor Strange have their own movies, and we're able to see more magic and otherworldly stuff. Because, I mean, when you really boil this movie down to its basic elements, it's kind of another Iron Man. There's this guy, super powerful, super popular, big deal where he comes from, kind of a jerk. He's brought down to size. He's taken out of his element, and he has to adapt after losing all of his power, all of his influence. And because of this experience, and because of the new people he meets, and the new people that he cares for, and who care for him, he becomes a better person. And the person who is a part of his world is like, how dare you not be a part of this world anymore and be a part of my own crazy way of thinking. And of course, they fight, and the good guy wins, and yeah, so on and so forth. We have Thor. And when you have two movies so similar and so close together, it just does not feel like it works anymore. It just feels like a retread of some of the other movies that have come before it, and even movies that will come later. So while I brought him up, I'm going to talk about him real quick. Got to talk about Loki. He's fantastic. Tom Hiddleston does a great job of playing Loki. At this point, he's just as iconic of a character as Iron Man is. And Tom Hiddleston is just as iconic at playing Loki. He gives you exactly what you want out of this character. He's mischievous, he's smart, he's cunning, but there's also the kicker that he's a relatable, really well done villain. The scene where he confronts Odin in the throne room always gets me. There's just two great performances in that scene, and the way both of the characters work in that scene is really well done. I just think the throne room scene is the reason that Loki as a character works overall through all of these movies, through the entire MCU. If you don't have that scene in the throne room, he's just another throwaway villain. But because he's given something to have deep down in him that we sympathize with, he's able to transcend all of these movies and become this iconic character. And of course, we'll talk about how great Loki is in other movies when we talk about other movies that he's featured in. But for right now, Tom Hiddleston lays a base for Loki that we can jump off of to where we actually care and sympathize with Loki as a character, which makes him such a strong villain. Now, as for Thor, I mean, I'm just going to be straight up honest with you guys. I don't think that Thor is that interesting of a character. I mean, the only time I've really found Thor interesting is more recently with Ragnarok and Infinity War, but before that, there's just not much to him. Like I said, he basically, as far as development in his own origin story, he just does another Iron Man. And yes, he becomes a better person out of it, and sure, we care about him because he's the good guy, but like, there's nothing definitive about him that carries me through these other movies until later down the line. At least with Iron Man, you have Robert Downey Jr. just fucking killing it as Tony Stark. And I love Chris Hemsworth as an actor, but right now he's trying to find his footing in this character and what differentiates him from any other superhero in this universe. And I don't think he finds it in this movie. He finds it later down the line, and I love Thor now. But like, looking back at this movie, he's not nearly as strong as he's going to be in later movies, and it handicaps this movie. It doesn't help that the relationship between him and Jane Foster, played by Natalie Portman, is also super not good. Like, it's just very boring. They're both good actors. They have something close to chemistry. Like, they're fine together, but like, there's just nothing in there that makes me believe that there's going to be this massive change in character from Thor, like there is with Tony Stark when him and Pepper are interacting. And yeah, it's not a good romantic subplot. And the fact that the relationship is basically thrown out after Age of Ultron doesn't help its case. Really doesn't. I enjoy Lady Sif and the Warriors 3. I wish there was more to do there, and I wish that like they were consistent throughout all the movies, where people are replaced or like they don't show up. But they're fun. They're fine. I just wish that there was like more for them to do, instead of them just like popping up when they need to for the plot. Over the years, I feel like this movie has lost a lot of what made me originally like it, and it's no fault of the movie, and I can't really blame the movie for it. I just think it, like, as time goes on and the superhero movie genre grows, some movies are going to get left behind, and unfortunately I feel like Thor is one of them. And I think that's why it's important to rewatch all of these, because the MCU has changed superhero movies in such a way to where now we expect a lot higher standards of it. We expect each movie to stand on their own in some way. And, you know, the standard wasn't like that back in the day. The fact that we were getting a superhero movie, the fact that we got 2 superhero movies in the span of, like, I think 3 months, because we got Captain America coming right after it. I think we even had X-Men First Class and Green Lantern mixed in there. Having 4 in a summer was unheard of, and now it's the norm. But I don't want to, you know, be too hard on this movie for retroactively having a lot more put upon it. I still think it's a fun movie. I think it's fine. Like I said, there's a lot of cool stuff in Asgard. Loki is fantastic. There's some cool action here and there. The fight on the Rainbow Bridge is pretty cool. The fight in Jotunheim is fun. The Shakespearean kind of talk and atmosphere that Kenneth Branagh provides is very welcome. It does do a good job of differentiating this from other movies in the MCU. It doesn't have the makings of like a true great MCU movie, but as an introduction to a character and bringing forth one of the more important villains of the MCU and introducing us to this whole new world and plethora of details that are going to come up later, you know, I think it does a fine job. And it's a fun, easy breezy 2 hours. It doesn't overstay its welcome or anything like that, so yeah. I think I'm still positive on Thor, but it's just lost a little bit of its magic. That's all. So I think I would give Thor a 3 out of 5. So how do you guys feel about Thor? Is it as good as it was in 2011 and it still retains all the magic that it had on the day of its release? Or has it maybe fallen by the wayside a little bit just because superhero movies are now a bi-monthly occasion? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this experiment, and you enjoy my ramblings about movies, please like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on my Twitter and Instagram. I'll have the links to those down in the description. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.